For person 160 for couples. Details at AugustaArts.com.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Good evening. There are new developments towards a ceasefire at home. The basketball state semifinals are taking place right now. News 12's Dan Booth has the latest live in a few minutes. But first, Columbia County Republicans held a rally today, raising more awareness around the death of Augusta University nursing student Laken Riley. Riley was killed at the University of Georgia's campus in February. Her suspected killer, Jose Ibarra, is in custody, along with his brother, facing several charges. Officials say Ibarra entered the country illegally. Our Audrey Dickherber is live in the newsroom now. And Audrey, you were at the rally in Columbia County. What were people saying over there?
Many people gathered saying they want a change in our country. It was a call to action to make a change. People vocalized their concerns about the safety for college students across the country, especially at UGA, and for the safety of Americans overall. Emotions were running high at the rally as they spoke about issues with the border and the presidential election coming up this November, hoping there aren't more victims like Laken Riley ever again.
This is such an important issue that we need to speak for our children. We have 4 children. One of them is almost 21. And we can really relate to the pain of the mother and the father of that daughter in Athens. It is a tragic situation that she had to go through. And it's time for the people of Columbia County and of Georgia to stand up and speak for those that can't speak for themselves.
Another rally for Laken Riley in Athens on March 5th, but we'll have more on the rally today in Columbia County tonight at 11.
Already a complex and hard issue. Thanks for checking in over there, Audrey. Now, our Beach Island cam was so foggy yesterday. We could not see through it with the rain and overcast sky, but today definitely looks like the sun is hitting our camera in a certain kind of way. A lot better conditions there. What are we looking at, Emily?
Yeah, just some low-hanging clouds there. That's kind of been the story all day today. We've seen a little bit of breaks here and there in that cloud cover, and so that's helped us reach those middle 60s for this afternoon. And now we're starting to slowly cool off as the cloud cover starts to increase for those overnight hours. We can expect to see temperatures drop off again pretty quickly. We're roughly an hour from sunset here, and those temperatures, again, like I said, this is actually about 30 minutes from sunset, so need to get that right next time. But those temperatures will slowly but surely drop off tonight, but really not too cold. We can expect to see lows that only reach those lower 50s for the overnight hours, so relatively mild start to our Sunday. That's definitely some good news. Some cloud cover, though, is going to stick around throughout the afternoon, but we might get a little bit of breaks in the cloud cover here and there, so that'll help us reach that 70-degree mark for our Sunday, and we're going to see the 70s for the rest of our work week, Craig, but some rainfall along with it. I'll have a check on your forecast coming up.
All right, thanks for the heads up, Emily. Now, news of a potential deal comes after. And stateside, a Norfolk Southern freight train derailed in Pennsylvania this morning. Officials say the incident happened around 7 a.m. as several trains went off the tracks and some cars ended up in a river. Crews are working to contain the diesel fuel that spilled into the river, but they say there is no need to evacuate people or worry about a hazardous material threat to the community.
There was a diesel fuel spill into the Lehigh River from the accident, and containment booms have been deployed. There is also a spill of polypropylene plastic pellets from one of the derailed rail cars.
At this time, officials say no one was injured, and the NTSB is investigating.
On your sideline.
Alrighty, tossing things over to the court. High school basketball teams across the state of Georgia are playing to punch their tickets for a chance at the state title today. News 12 sports director Dan Booth joins us live from Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville with the latest on the Josie Lady Eagles, Butler Bulldogs, and Westside Patriots. Dan?
On day basketball, we have of our teams playing in different states today, and as you can hear behind me, the atmosphere is just these teams hoping to
Sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties, and we will join Dan later on tonight with a full recap of what's going on, or earlier if we can get back to that. Now, sticking into the sports vein, the Augusta Rowing Club and the Augusta Sports Council teamed up to host Olympic rower Andre Matthias. Matthias presented Angola at 4 World Championships, has won several World Cups, medaled at several championships, and is an Olympic rower college champion. The CSRA has a proud history when it comes to rowing, including hosting the Arion program last year to help post-collegiate athletes train in the winter and spring. When it is too cold to train up north, Matthias spoke about the advice he would give to students interested in rowing.
It can. I mean, it really can. And I spoke about it, I think, rowing more than any other sport just rewards, pure hard work. And I mentioned too that you have a lot of national team Olympic level rowers who picked up the sport, late in high school, walked on college teams, or even after college picked up the sport. That's the case of Ollie Zeitler, just Olympic medalist rower.
Augusta was also home to the Olympic Training Center in 1996. We'll have more on News 12 after this.
Morning.
Morning.
Ready, set.
Save all winter with quick and easy energy tips from Georgia Power. Simple actions, simple savings in no time flat. Get started at georgiapower.com today.
Kroger, everyone.
Imagine you're stopped in traffic. Roadworks brought the highway to a halt. Imagine looking in the rearview mirror. The 18-wheeler behind you is driving too fast for conditions. But you're lucky to be alive. You imagine how much worse it could have been. Imagine knowing you can call all nines 24/7 and get the help you need. The team at George Sink Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you. We've helped thousands of people get the money they need. Call all nines now.
Hey, you going to that event on Saturday? .com/Sketch the Sky for more details. Sponsored by Hobbytown Augusta.
Introducing the First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster.
Fresh snow from a massive winter storm fell today in Reno, Nevada. More than 12 to 18 inches were expected to come down in nearby mountains, with higher avalanche dangers also being reported. Snow showers are expected to continue into the evening, with conditions expected to begin improving tomorrow into Monday. Well, thankfully, it's not as bad as out there. Here, we're having nice weather in comparison. My bad. I'm going to toss things over to our expert, Emily Acton. Emily, just a serious situation. Snow over there in the West Coast. We got serious fires in Texas. Can't believe what's going on around the nation.
Yeah, me neither, Craig. I know that really January, February are the craziest months for seeing just drastic difference in weather conditions across the U.S., but I know that we're slowly getting into March there, so maybe it's just hanging on a little bit longer this year. But thankfully, conditions are relatively calm here in the CSRA. We're sitting in those lower 60s right now. A little bit of cloud cover out there, and that's what we've seen most of the day today, some lower clouds, and that's kind of helped keep us on that milder side. But let's look at the rest of the nation. Very warm air over in Texas, 77 in Dallas, over all the way up into Kansas, sitting in those 70s, but a little bit cooler as we go over here to the southeast. Most of us are sitting in those lower to middle 60s. Like I said, this is everybody across the CSRA is seeing those lower 60s right now, so relatively mild evening in store for us. Still going to be a little bit gloomy out there in terms of that cloud cover, but not seeing any rainfall for us, so that's some good news. We definitely need a break leading up to this week of rainfall chances. We definitely need this dry evening for us, so expecting that to stay true throughout the overnight hours. We can expect to see temperatures only drop off into those lower 50s, so really mild conditions overnight tonight, so relatively warm start to your Sunday, and we'll warm up into those lower to middle 70s. I want to backtrack there. I think that we'll see those lower 70s more across the board tomorrow, just really depending on those breaks in the cloud cover. If we see a little bit more breaks here and there, then we could see those higher temperatures in those middle 70s. So again, lower to middle 70s tomorrow afternoon. Same can be said for Monday, starting off in the 50s, warming up into the 70s. Going to see off and on clouds, and so we'll see a little bit of sun for our afternoon Monday, and Tuesday not looking too bad either, but once we get a little bit into late Tuesday, early Wednesday, that's when those rain chances are really going to move in, and some widespread heavier rainfall can be expected. And so we can expect a little bit of a flash flood risk there. Not expecting anything super major, but again, we can see rainfall throughout the day Wednesday. Really, it's not going to be out of our hair until late into the evening and overnight hours. So things are looking dry for the start of the week. Tuesday night, that's when we're going to see that rain chance really start to amp up. But Wednesday, that's when we can expect that widespread heavy rainfall, maybe a flash flood risk there. Thursday looking dry, and then Friday and Saturday of next week, unfortunately, looking like it's going to bring some rainfall. Temperatures are staying pretty seasonable in those lower 70s. Once we get into next week, or late next week into next weekend, we'll be in those upper 60s, which again is still around average for this time of year. So we're doing pretty good for March, but definitely a lot of rainfall expected this week, Craig.
Yeah, alrighty. I'll make sure to go out with those nice temps when we can. Thanks for that heads up on the rain, especially, Emily. Well, coming up, the snow in Reno is affecting California as well. More on those dangerous conditions up next.
On Ramjack Foundation Repair.
Oh, Grace, this one's from your stepdad. Thanks, Chris. This one's from Lily. Lily.
Okay, great. Let's add the milk. Oh, it's perfect. You know this.
Fort McHenry.
Good job, Grace.
Thanks, Chris.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to my mom and Chris. Where did you guys meet?
Psychology class. Wow. Nice. Wow. You look beautiful.
Thanks, Dad.
Since I arrived here 3 years ago, I've fallen in love with the area. There really is a lot to do. Some of my favorite places include downtown Augusta. I love the atmosphere on Broad Street. Plus, I'm a dog mom, so you may see me sometime at Pendleton King or Evanstown Center Park with my dog Remy. I love exploring the city so I can enjoy it with my family when they visit, which is often. And of course, I've made lots of friends through work and play. This may not be where I'm from, but this is where I call home.
Don't ignore the signs.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Alrighty, as we told you earlier, lots of high school basketball is on the line to punch their tickets for the state title. We're just going to throw things over to News 12 sports director Dan Booth, who joins us live from Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville with the latest. Dan, what is going on over there?
Thank you, Craig. It is a marathon day of high school basketball action here in Milledgeville. And like we've been talking about, it is incredible that 3 teams from Augusta, Josie, Westside, and Butler, have all made it to the Class 2A state semifinals. Once again, proving how dangerous Augusta can be when they're on the basketball court. Now let's just get right into it without any further ado, just because there has been so much great action today. The Josie Lady Eagles have a long history of success, and in this year's playoffs, all of their wins have been by at least 17 points. They were flying high into their state semifinal showdown with Central Macon. This game was tied at the half, but in the third quarter, the Lady Eagles just took off. The combination of Kiesia Henderson getting hot from three-point land and Kerry Fluellen pushing the pace, taking it to the rim, and everything she was providing on offense and defense as well, picking up a couple of big steals, gave Josie the push they needed to win 45-38. I caught up with the Lady Eagles after the game to find out how they're feeling about this emotional win and everything that went into it and punching their ticket to state.
It felt real good. Like, I was just very emotional, and I just really wanted it out there. And, you know, sometimes when I get a bucket or something, I just got to express myself, you know, that's all. I just be feeling myself. That's it.
They have everything in their toolkit to be able to go out there and play effectively and hang with anybody. But, you know, I may be a little bit biased, but that's just the way I feel as a coach. All they had to do was just calm that nervousness, settle down. They have the tools. They just had to go out there and execute.
Shortly after Josie's big win, the Butler Bulldogs played in the state semifinal game of their own against Toombs County, and this one came down to the wire. Butler was down by 10 points at the half, and during the break, head coach Chaz Clark changed up their defense a little bit to get the Bulldogs back in it, playing some soft man coverage, completely threw Toombs County off their game, and with a great team effort led by Roosevelt Brown, Kwame Bridges, and Marcus Scurry Jr., Butler came back into this game all the way and took the lead with about 4 minutes to go. Despite that crazy second round, the size and strength of County just was a little bit too much for Butler. Sadly, the Bulldogs came up short to 42, bringing their incredible season to now just the first recovery. Two-time state champion Westside Patriots will be back on just a little while at 7 o'clock to face Columbia week in Macon. The West 2 wins away from...
Sorry about that again, but Dan, thank you very much for checking in with all the coverage out there in Milledgeville. We'll have more tonight on News 12 at 11 with Dan Booth checking in on the latest of all of our local teams. But also, looking ahead, the winter weather is hitting hard to West Coast territories and areas over there. Amber Worthy has more.
March's weather is roaring in like a lion in the Mountain West. Dangerous weather is slamming parts of California and Nevada with rare blizzard conditions. Hurricane-force winds are causing blinding conditions, and icy roads shut down a stretch of I-80 at the California-Nevada border.
One of the things that has us concerned is that we're going to see the storm, the snowfall, preceded by the rain. Snow's going to hit the ground, and it has the ability, as the temperatures drop over the nights, it's going to freeze.
About 500,000 people are under blizzard warnings in the Mountain West, with another 6 million under winter weather alerts across the region. Officials are urging people to stay indoors, and residents say they are prepared.
Made sure we had eggs and stuff, because you need to plan ahead and not wait for the last minute.
One upside of the storm will be its effect on California's water supply. A survey conducted by California's Department of Water Resources before the storm found snowpack in some areas is already at 80% of the March average.
Back on January 1st, we were about 3 inches of snow water content. On February 1st, 10 inches of snow water content. And now we're at 18. So we have built really nicely.
Millions of people in the West depend on a melting snowpack in warmer months for hydropower, irrigation, and drinking water, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. I'm Amber Worthy reporting.
Now over here in Georgia, the Atlanta Fair is opening for the first day today across from the Center Park Stadium. Safety and security is still top of mind after a shooting at the fair 2 years ago that left 2 teenagers dead and a third hurt. Organizers say to keep everyone safe, only clear bags are allowed and security will check bags. Everyone under 16 also has to be with someone over the age of 21.
When I was a Marine, we were
99999.
A Texas couple still in shock after being locked in an urgent care clinic. Austin and Tarado Jennings say staff at a clinic locked them up for the night and left them in a patient room as they waited for care. Now they are asking for an apology. Jessica Willie speaks to them.
I made an appointment for 6. They said that was the earliest they could see me.
Sick with strep throat and the flu for more than a week, Austin Jennings went with his wife to Mont Bellevue Urgent Care Tuesday evening. The doctor prescribed a breathing treatment. The nurse brought it in and promised to be back when Austin was finished. They said, they heard some goodbyes.
Like, all right, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
And, I'm thinking, okay, front desk probably just leaving, because obviously
We're there.
Yeah, we're there.
The office grew quiet.
Like really, really quiet.
Really quiet. Really quiet. You could hear a pin drop in there.
The couple remained in their assigned patient room, but as time passed, they became concerned.
I was like, man, what if they forgot about us?
Yeah.
Like, we just kind of been sitting here for a while. And he's like, no, they didn't forget about us. And I was like, I don't know, man. And then he's like, okay, well, I have to go to the bathroom, so I'll just go check. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. That's a good idea. Opens the door, and it's just pitch black.
Pitch black, and the alarm just starts going crazy.
The alarm triggered the security company's monitoring center, and the woman on the other end of the speaker was just as baffled.
The alarm lady was like, hey, everything okay? And we're like, all right, no.
The couple called Mont Bellevue police, who confirmed their response.
So we finally escaped the urgent care.
2 hours later, they were back in their car.
How do you miss people being in a room?
2 days later, the couple are still perplexed, especially since they haven't heard from the business.
It's unacceptable. This should be made right. If I do something, I'm a business owner. If I do something wrong, it's my job to acknowledge it and make it right.
Attorney Donnelly Smith has stepped in to try to facilitate a refund for the $50 copay, the prescription Austin went for, and an apology. The couple feel it's not a big ask.
Just something, an acknowledgement of like an apology.
More news, weather, and sports later tonight on News 12 at 11. Thank you for joining us here at 6.
The rooms to go in.